Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Monchi here. I just want to real quick plug two things before we get into the podcast. First thing is that the track you can listen to right now will be one of the tracks from my debut EP, which will be released on the 3rd of May on Square Lab Music. I will put a link of that in the description, and also we will talk about a software called News Sessions in this podcast, which was by the time we were recording this in an open beta, but is by the time you're listening to it not anymore in that state. So without further ado, let's get into it and enjoy the podcast.
Monchi's podcast.
Okay, so we started already, right?
Yeah, we started already, but I would just want to say, so really cool that you made it on this podcast.
Man, from the moment I feel like the record button, I know it's already recording, but from the moment I know it's like,
Yeah,
actually, I will just get, I don't know, be totally awkward and I don't know.
yeah, but man, for me, it's the same thing. I am getting really nervous, and I'm like, well, no, I just hit record, and I also was thinking maybe just to make it in the end, like in short introduction, which I then just cut at the beginning to be or to record this separately, just to have an introduction to the thing, and then cut another conversation which feels like supernatural after this.
Some podcasts I watch, the guy just teases his audience with the best or the main things that people will say in the beginning. He just compiles like 2 or 3 clips with 20 seconds with some of the biggest arguments of that podcast, but not the full stuff, of course. And
Yeah.
just put it in the beginning, and then you start watching how it started till it get to those parts.
Yeah, I think it's some kind of clever
Yeah,
attention thing.
yeah, it's like a hook. So
Yeah.
further on that conversation, there will be this topic, and usually it's good because you see the people, the conversation in a point where it's already much more fluent,
Yeah.
and people are just speaking. And in the beginning, there's always this startup.
But anyway, like today I tried to figure out how to distribute this podcast thing, and I just saw it in my head. I know there are like a lot of distribution services and stuff like this, but I was like, I don't want to pay anything because I just try the stuff, and yeah, I'm not feeling so comfortable with instantly investing in it like on a monthly basis. So I tried to figure out how to upload the stuff by myself onto these streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever. And turns out that this is like the craziest pain in the ass.
Right.
Yeah, it's like first thing on Spotify. I think I figured out later that you can upload your podcast without using a distribution service. But for music, to upload it to Spotify, you need to use a distribution service. So you need to pay to get your music onto Spotify, and also the people listening to the music pay to listen to your music. So they are just milking like everybody. But yeah, you can upload your podcast still by yourself on Spotify without distribution service. And then I just wanted to upload to create an Apple podcast account, whatever. And so first I needed to make an Apple ID, throw all my data in there, then to validate this Apple ID to the highest degree, I need to also
Picture with your ID and all this, no?
No, not this, but I needed to tell them a payment method I want to use. In order to tell them this payment method, I need to download iTunes to my computer. It's like, it's getting wild. And then I just got iTunes on my computer, and it's not working on my Windows computer.
You need to get a Mac computer to get iTunes working.
Man, and from this point, I was like, oh, fuck, man, I don't want to deal with all this. I just want to upload my podcast. So, yeah, I will most likely use one of these distribution services, because now I think it's worth to pay money to somebody to take care of this.
How it works regarding podcasts, but there's some free, yeah, you give commissions to them, but you don't pay for the releases itself. There's themselves. You pay commissions. So what you sell, you give like 30% to the distribution.
Sounds yeah.
Yeah, and you don't pay. I can ask my friend, because he just released this album. I'm not familiar regarding podcasts, but I can ask him.
Yeah, please. That would be super cool. And then the next thing comes into play, because then I wanted to use a distribution service, and I found a real cheap one. I think it's called Buzzsprout or whatever. And then the next challenge, they just accept credit card payments. At least that's the only thing they offer on the website. So I have no credit card, so I try to get a credit card, but because I'm unemployed and I have 1 children, nobody will give me a credit card right now. So yeah, man, I spent this whole morning on this whole journey through through checking how to distribute and upload this podcast thing, but
to set up all those final steps. It's like I done a work with an artist. Let's call it like this. I think I mentioned to you this French artist who hired me and my girlfriend to help him develop his brand. So my task was to develop his online store. So is Etsy in this case, or Shopify. One of those. I think you wanted both, but we end up only setting up one, because he saw that it takes you need a lot of informations that you need to be handy, like your address, your ID, your credit card or bank cards, your bank letter saying that this account belongs to you. All this documentation needs to be sent and verified. Nowadays, it's very quick because AI can really verify documents very quickly with the multimodal systems, vision systems. So they are text and vision. So this is getting faster. But anyway, you need to gather all this documentation to be efficient in setting up the store. So this guy didn't have too much of his stuff prepared. So
sounds like me.
Yeah, it was taking him a while, and he was paying me by hour, and it's how it is. But I told him in advance that he should have gathered all this. So it took. In the end, we did it. We managed to do it. It took around 5 hours just to set up and get the confirmation back. But because he had to go and search in his emails for every email that his bank had sent him to check for the documentation that proof, and also is where he lived, a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's with distributors. I don't think there's too many of these demands, but then I think they like to be a professional distributing something, even if it's digital content or physical content, like it was his case. You really have to take the time to prepare it and to create.
Yeah, man. The back end in reality is like
yeah,
it's crazy.
Once it's like Reaper. once you take the time, you see this is how I introduce it. If you take the time to prepare your backend this workflow efficiently, let's imagine you create all this system where you just invite the people for the meeting, you have the conversation recording, you're editing. It's also developed with the scripts that I kindly saved for you to share for podcast editing in Reaper. At least vocal without the video, but I think it will work the same. It's super handy. And after that, the layer after, I would say, it's just having like some kind of script or Python, something like this. I don't know, but probably it's possible to once you finish this clip, you just draw those files into a folder, and the folder or the program knows what to do with those. Just where to upload them, where to, like with the Dropbox, because most of the times you can upload stuff from Dropbox accounts. Imagine having this Dropbox folder on your computer, throwing the files in there, they connect with the Dropbox, and in the internet, with this API, it automatically every week, let's say every Friday, podcast will be released. If it's in that folder, if you finish your work there, you just throw it there and it will upload automatically. So that's what I was doing with my presets. And then sending to everyone in email and Telegram automatically.
I think this is also what these distribution services are doing. They just wrote some kind of program which just will automatically do all the work, and
every upload information, depending on what you checked on the box, it will send it to all. It's not one person, of course, we know that it's not like this, but if you take the time, the system can be more efficient and expanded, and you can focus on improving stuff quality wise, like making better audio quality instead of being need to upload this here and then there and then there. And
definitely. To focus more on the real work. Sorry.
It's a journey of learning. No, it's we are, and probably there's a bunch of forums or people. Maybe you've watched some YouTube channels specified for podcast topics or editing or uploading or broadcast. There must be plenty of those.
Yeah, for sure there are. But I just got into some just DaVinci Resolve tutorials, and just was watching one video for this distribution services, but other than that, nothing else.
I really enjoy being the test subject on this while you develop your best approach to this. I really don't mind. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I just ordered yesterday a new used microphone, the SM57. Yeah, sure, SM57, pretty standard. But Jack was using this one on the last podcast, and I just in the editing process, I realized how this microphone was sounding much more creamy in comparison to mine. Mine sounds just really harsh. I think it's okay for just news sessions or chats, but for the podcast and also for streaming, I think it's worth to upgrade to a slightly nicer one.
Yeah, we know that post-production can really make it sound creamier, more expensive, but if you can already take that quality from the source, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want to, because it's I don't want to spend so much work into editing stuff. For me, it's just roughly adjusting all the levels, make sure nothing is peaking, make sure the difference in levels are not too disturbing or whatever, and then I'm done. Just to make it like more brilliant or whatever. I don't know. Maybe if you know a easy way to do this, I'm totally open for it.
Yeah, I think the one I know I really suggest to you the Adobe podcast stuff, just to throw it out in there, and it will enhance really, really well.
Okay.
The background noise will be removed, the reverberation of the round also be decreased. It's super good. You should check it out. But I must recognize that if we are overlapping each other while we speak, it might cause some artifacts, that some different accent on who's speaking or something like this. This moment,
but I think if I input like two separate audio tracks, and I think it can be enhanced. Yeah. So I think we are quite some bit into the recording now, and I think it just would be nice to have like a small introduction into who you are. Maybe just some people don't know your project or whatever, just to give them like a brief overview.
Sure. Please. Should I do it?
Yeah. I think it's you know better about your project than me.
I really hate descriptions. But I'm region. I don't know. I was born in the Portuguese demographic area of the world. I spend most of my time digging musical stuff. I mean, in the computer. I spend a lot of time outside as well, but most of the time on the computer is digging mostly music-related stuff and stuff that inspires me. Also, sharing my experiences with other people that share same passions or similar um, interests and curiosities. I love sharing stuff with people, and yeah, that's pretty much. It's very simple. I just feed on plants mostly, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. It's super nice wrap up. Yeah, it's actually also how we connected, just by sharing stuff online.
Yeah.
So I think at least it properly matches yeah what you are and what you do.
I'm the worst person to describe myself because I haven't find who I am yet, so it's super hard to.
Yeah, it's also maybe it's easier to if I would have asked not who you are, but more like what your projects are, and how to describe those. It's of course to describe like the whole person, like who am I? We could sit here for days.
Exactly. Because when my current moment, I've been a lot of different persons, let's say, or a bunch of different focus during my life, my experience so far. So yeah, I think the question also it's very pertinent if you ask, or very interesting to know, like, how are you spending your time? Mostly. Okay. What is driving your motivations, or what is really making you get up from bed, and are you doing at the current time? It's super interesting question to anyone.
Yeah.
From your point of view, you will get a genuine. If you are genuinely interested, you will receive that answer openly, and yeah, get to know that person. And in the other hand, it makes the other person reflect about what they are really doing, and
Yeah.
what are my passions? What am I doing with my time, my energy?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to reflect on those stuff.
Yeah, man, I will definitely keep this in mind for upcoming podcasts. And I think almost everybody has something to tell there. Like, what makes you getting out of bed every day?
I know that sometimes that subject can shift. It's not every day the same, of course. But yeah, I think in general, it's good to know what's the current um,
Motivation.
motivation, yeah,
Yeah.
or goal you're working towards to, or
Yeah. So what about that, Daniel? What I play the Uno reverse card.
no, but it's legit. What been taking me out of bed lately?
Yeah.
Okay, mostly my dog asking me to go pee, recently. But after that, for sure, I'm starting when I'm walking with him on the garden here outside, and I just start to think I want to go play with Reaper. Like the last 3 months have been like that. Also, music, not music related. I love. I'm enjoying to dig into agriculture, like literally dig a lot. Digging. But it has been wonderful and super rewarding, and I had never think that I would enjoy so much doing this. I think when this area, this agriculture area, is helping me a lot in music wise as well, especially for analogies.
Yeah, yeah, I think this would be an interesting topic. I would like to dive into or to hear a little bit more about.
Yeah, I don't take notes of every analogy I remember
Yeah.
while I'm doing stuff, but they just came spontaneously. But it's making me make more connections on how nature works, and if I can transpose those ways of uh, exchanging energies or balancing the stuff, and that totally relates with the way I perceive music, or I perceive my music production, or what I want to build with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know that I have some kind of esoteric views about
Yeah.
not music, so I try to not. It's not really an effort. I just enjoy it. When I say I try, I'm not really trying. It happens naturally. I really love to see it as a all stuff. I don't see too many separation from music and to being alive, like eating or this,
Yeah.
because it's energy that we are um, releasing or dedicating to whatever it be. So yeah, and with music, it has the potential, and also with agriculture, to be amplified and spread.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything you do can have impact um, in the environment.
Yeah, like energy or time spent or whatever, like a kind of meta currency or whatever in an exchange with the with your environment. I think I
Yeah, because you have to put it. It's non-questionable. Like if I put a seed on the ground, or if I um, water my plant or something like this, I will be making a change in the environment. And like making music, if I have my speakers on, it will make the air around me, so the environment around me, change. So I'm making these changes, and if this music has some particular, let's say, emotion to it, if there's a human being in this space, it can be affected by the way the environment is vibrating.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's music or sound or whatever. So all this, so this is the thing that is it's like scientific. You can't really deny that you're
Yeah.
changing the environment with your actions. So yeah, the intention that you put, like, where is that coming from? Why are you changing the environment? For what reasons? And
Yeah.
so yeah, it might be a concept too far off for some people, because it's you don't really think about this consciously when you're doing it. But just
Yeah.
if you reflect like this on even for the little actions you do, um, I think you can really phase your intentions with
Yeah.
your actions, so you can get higher amplitude and more RMS happiness or peace.
Yeah, this is a nice analogy again there. Yeah, but even also I just want to mention that I think it's good to get some different perspective with this podcast, even if it's too far off for some people. I think I also will put something in the description, like yeah, I wanna hear some biased, semi-educated opinions on anything. Just tune into this podcast.
Really make some part. This one is scientific, that you're changing the environment around you because the air is vibrating. But anyway, they're just opinions. The other stuff, the way you should, or like it will make you more peaceful with yourself if you ask these questions from time to time and just align yourself. This is just opinions. I don't know.
Amen. And if it's adding like a net positive to your life, and if it's not creating any harm for anybody else, I think yeah, it's totally okay.
Definitely.
I think it's a good thing to to upgrade your life experience in a non-destructive way for you and your everybody else.
I mean, I always take in consideration, as I said, myself and the environment. And if my actions only harm myself, um, sometimes even if I know that they are bad, of course, if they will harm me, if they don't affect too much other people or the environment or other uh, what else is around me, I will do it. As an example, I will just do one of those actions now.
Yeah.
So yeah, smoking is one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely agree.
I don't eat too much meat or too much. I mean, I don't eat any meat at all for the last 10 years.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
don't like to say that I'm this or that or
Yeah.
vegetarian. I just don't do it because it harms and others, not
Yeah.
myself, for a personal desire. Let's say like this.
Yeah, I mean I also I try to implement this more and more. Just recently, it just popped up in my brain again that for everybody else, I eat meat at the moment. But it just popped
Let's
up.
not make this about like dietary options about anyone. I really I'm no. I just say this before because there's no right or wrong.
Yeah,
Everyone has its right to eat whatever they want, and
yeah, totally.
I'm not. Yeah, let's just put it. I'm not like this very activist about something. So
Okay, I will just write this down. So,
just to make it clear. But yes, please. I want to leave. I'm really interested in.
yeah, I I thought about like watching one of those documentaries about how animals are treated, especially those for the meat production. Yeah, those really horrible documentaries, and I was like, again, just to I should just watch it once if I really eat meat. I just should do it. And to me, it's like I really don't want to watch this stuff. I really don't want to watch the stuff. I rather um turn down or reduce my meat consumption more and more until zero than watching one of those documentaries. It's like I was like, okay, I need to watch one of those, and then I'm like, I just stop eating meat, and I don't need to watch it.
I think that's a very nice way of putting stuff. Yeah, you should not need to to see some awful stuff in order to know that it's creating such pain
Yeah,
into um consciousness. Let's
yeah,
like I say it like this. Uh, anyway, I think we just in terms like society wise, in civilization wise, we just with time we we delegated too much of our I don't want to say responsibilities, but our access to basic needs to other people. We just
mm,
trust too much on the entities that are providing us our foods and our medicines and our educations and all this. We
yeah,
just trust them too much, in my opinion, and we should just be sure that um, from our children and for ourselves. I mean, for ourselves, if we want to harm ourselves, it's okay. But if our actions are harming others, like in this chain, we should really reflect on those and maybe not delegate too much that responsibility to others. And by doing that, you really start to know the process much more and to be
yeah,
part of it. And like, yeah, growing your food, it's one a good example on what you can do to delegate a bit less of these responsibilities to others and you
yeah.
start doing it yourself and like making your own music with your own starting a present from the innings like it's like starting
Yeah,
from the seed instead
yeah,
of being processed present.
yeah, but that's it's like,
But I think we can learn a lot by reverse engineer stuff and see and dissect if we could pass the analyzers on the food we eat like we do on our stuff and
yeah, but like just
somebody. What I would suggest for this, I know you can do it pretty much with any synth that has an oscillator and some basic controls, but with Kick 2, I think that it's um, super nice to try and match some, uh, sorry,
that's fine.
some shapes because you can layer in the background. Imagine load a kick in the click tab.
Mm-hmm.
You can lower our bass in this case. Uh, we could try that. I don't know. At the moment, if you want, if
Yeah, let's go for it.
okay, maybe I can like this. I feel maybe the people watching this are aware that we are using Muse sessions or something like that.
I think it's also something we could maybe introduce the listeners and also the viewers. So do you want to or
Um, we can both do it. It's for the ones who don't know, Muse Sessions. It's still being developed piece of software that allows music producers or anyone to collaborate and make virtual sessions with each other, like we are doing now this podcast, and also sharing screen and screen control, screen share or control sharing. So, and it allows multiple people in the same room. You can even send your MIDI through the internet to other people's DAWs, and it's keep in mind that it's still in beta, so it might have some little issues. But
yeah,
by using it, you are helping it being developed, and I think it's a really great piece of software.
Yeah.
Everyone should know about it.
So 2 things I want to mention here is that it would be nice if you also could record your screen now, because I think because due to internet connection, what I'm recording right now is like really in really low quality. Like, so I think it's not a problem for me right now, but in order that people can watch it properly in the end when I'm uploading it, I think it would be nice if you also can just record it somewhere. Also, um, I want to add that to me, Muse sessions, it's basically like some kind of Zoom, but especially developed for producers in particular, or for people want to make music online. There's also the option to like collaborate with random people from the community, and you can see the genres, the AWs or whatever any producers into. So yeah, it's a really cool piece of software. Although the setup can be a struggle sometimes for some people, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it, and it will also be improved because it's still in development.
I think as more people use it, more of the issues will be getting solved. More people will be start to report those, if any. I mean, I use it consistently. I mean,
Yeah.
for the last 2.5 years, maybe. And I give classes reliably on it. I hang with friends. I make collabs as we did as well, and it's been super useful. Zone had this limitation. I don't know if it's still current, if it's still like that during the pandemic, with for 40 minutes per session,
Yeah, I think it's still like this.
and you had to use another software if you wanted to use. For me, for instance, as your driver, I had to use
Okay.
another plugin in my master in order to my collaborator to listen, and he had to had that installed as well. So Mute centralizes everything. It has
Yeah.
its one audio sharing plugin from the DAW. It's called Muse plugin. So yeah, thanks to Luis as well. Is the I think is the guy main guy developing Muse. So big shout out to him
Yeah.
for making this great piece of.
Yeah, man. Thank you, dude. If you're listening to this, thank you very much. It really makes a difference. I mean, to my life, it makes such a difference because, yeah, man, like this is also something I don't know if we go down the sidetrack right now, but yeah, it really changed my life. It changed my day-to-day life because I'm hanging out with you guys from Portugal, like I think at least 2 times or at least one time a week, but really often more than that. And yeah, it became a big part in my day-to-day life and my spare time to just have chat with you guys, checking music production related stuff, or yeah.
In the meantime, I think we kind of got into this state where these guys you're mentioning, I think there's a bunch of other bubble communities, but ours, we just got into this point where we just connect almost every single day since the morning if we are here.
Yeah.
And we can all be working on our stuff, and every time we're stuck on something, or we have a question, or like for instance, a real example. Yesterday, I was jamming some phrases, and I was wondering because it was some kind of jazzy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not sure how. I should quantize those, or if I should at all quantize them. And yeah, I just um, asked Jordan briefly, "Oh man, do you have any idea on how could I approach this topic?" And he said, "Oh, maybe don't quantize and just adjust the notes you feel that are off. If you feel that they need to be adjusted." Oh yeah, I, for me it was so obvious like this, but
Yeah.
by consulting this person that was there, he was working on his stuff. I just interrupted him for briefly, and then we all kept on our stuff, doing what we were doing. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's very handy. And it's like having your mates really close. um you don't have the need to be responsive every time. You can mute yourself and go out and not be here. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's basic common sense, of course. But yeah, what we got past the point, we assume that by being in a collab call, you need to be here and looking what everyone is doing
Yeah.
and listening. It's just like hanging with friends. We two people can be having a conversation and the other two having another conversation, and one guy
Yeah.
just completely looking lost, and we say lost in the mayonnaise, but actually fun.
Yeah. So
So great.
back to this kick stuff. I mean, do you? Yeah.
Okay, so
Perfect.
let me redo this again. Yeah, just to make it very obvious. I think for bass it won't work because, as you mentioned, bass needs this phase shifting, and we can try to see how it goes. But for kicks, it's pretty basic. This is nothing new. I feel that everyone knows this technique already.
I didn't knew it until now, so show it
Yeah,
to me.
it just proves that by perceptions, it's completely off. Yeah, I just load the kick. You can use the one you like, the one you feel like it's a really nice kick. So you just load it into a click. Um, Here a click slot.
Yeah.
Click one in this case. So you just, if you don't have this already turned on, you just put your subview. This is the kick you're doing, so it reacts to whatever you're doing here. So if you layer the click view here underneath, you will see the other kick. I tend to prefer green for this, or red, so it might contrast, but I will stick with yellow for now. So here it's important that you just put it on the maximum level. Since the sample is already done, you just, it's very important. It's very basic, this, but some people just forget about it, and the kick then sounds slightly different from the original source. So yeah, after getting here, I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You just have to, yeah, maybe you can adjust the length to be easier, and just start playing around with this. Maybe in it really doesn't matter. You can just, okay, let's start below the scene, but yeah, you didn't know this, but I'm sure
a bunch of people listening will know.
Yeah, a bunch of people worried about this, or maybe not, so it might be useful. I mean, yeah, it tends to get, then you should, it doesn't need to be perfect. I think people like doing exact matches of what's there. So
I think it's also it's some really funny thing. If you it doesn't matter how much you try to probably exactly recreate the stuff, you will end up with something different.
exactly.
I think it's like I think I also talked with this about this with Jack on the last podcast, like this sensation of watching a YouTube video and trying to recreate whatever it's done in the video and still ending up with with something different, not sounding like it. So yeah, but this is a really cool technique.
It is. There's some science behind how to be more efficient in finding the correct harmonics, and like I said, there's people who really develop these techniques, which I am not, but I play around with these ones. 2 years ago I was much more efficient, but I can't really remember what I was doing in order to just a very important tip if you're trying this. Remember that probably this other kick, this click too, in this case,
Yeah.
probably it has been layered with some kind of click or noises.
Yeah.
So in order to make this,
The transient.
yeah, exactly. It will be the thing that we will struggle the most to get close to the target.
Yeah.
So, but it's pretty cool to play around with this. Even if you get some different kicks, you might at least the shapes, the overall shapes, the amplitudes, you get similar. And so for studying purposes as well, it's
Yeah.
I'm just
That's-
messing around. Don't take this as any
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
life example.
Yeah, I think also maybe I should just describe maybe for people who are listening what you're doing. You were opening up basically kick two, and yeah, as you said, you put the desired kick you want to match into the click sampler, and then by putting on the click layer on the top right of the wave window of the top right corner, you just can layer the sample kick with the one you want to synthesize in kick two, and obviously then just in quotation marks play around with the amp parameters and the pitch parameters and try to match the wave shapes. It's looking really satisfying. So I I would also recommend to people listening to this maybe to check out the video. Yeah.
I will just showcase how where I have those little tools so I can share my audio very quickly and efficiently. In this case, I have configured Reaper. So when I press,
Yeah, it's a perfect transition, I think, to get into Reaper, isn't it?
we've already been there for the last minutes, but I just press asterisk on my keyboard and it will open my effects monitoring.
Yeah.
So in here I have a bunch of monitoring effects that I use to analyze the sound. So this channel it's after the master. So this is what master is listening. Okay.
Yeah.
This channel. You can do whatever you want here. It won't affect any rendering or export or anything. This is just
Okay.
tree. So you can, if you have too much bass on your room, you can just come here and just draw a cue here
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So basically, just again for people who are not watching, it's just a separate channel which is like after the master bus, where Daniel has put a bunch of analyzing plugins like Span or yeah.
Exactly. Just very. I used to tend to have them on the master on Ableton because I should mention Ableton of course. So yeah, here you have this possibility. Also, there's another very useful thing that you can do, but I won't be able to showcase because it's on my second monitor. If I just press F7, it just opens my analyzers all organized like something like I will just transpose them here.
Yeah.
Something like this, where I can quickly
See all the informations you need.
exactly
Yeah.
all nice and organized where they should be. So I don't need to open them manually and they just end up like everywhere on the screen or one by one. So yeah, that's it. And then F8, just I close this every single one of them at the same time. And I can go back and forth with this. So it's, and actually, let me just showcase. It's very quickly change. It's not really trouble. Let's
Go ahead. Yeah, it's
yeah.
we have
So
all the time we need.
these are my main analyzers. So here, by the way, can you hear this already? So
Yeah.
okay, cool.
By the way, I just want to maybe just give a quick overview on what kind of meters you use. So we get Voxengo span, pretty standard. And the what's the name of the oscilloscope? It's this.
Smexoscope. Let me justify just my choice about this scope.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Basically, I've been using it for years and I got used to it, but I really love this feature. I mean, probably there's another.
Which feature?
Like literally this thing that
this cross you can place in the UI of
because it
the
tells me
oscilloscope.
here maybe I can just like mark it like a construction worker to see the line if it's all aligned. I don't have I can just throw a track here just to illustrate it better.
And also it's like you just can point at any point of the oscilloscope UI on the waveforms and probably see the level, I think. It also will draw a horizontal line for this whole level, so you can see, for example, if your baseline is peaking above the value you want to have it, or
Okay, let's just finishing this. So it's very simple for me to rearrange how I want my monitor plugins to pop up. Like imagine I'm working on this session, I don't have the second monitor turned on. I can just press Shift F7 and oh, sorry, it just because I didn't place it. Yeah, so I have to just throw them here again. I forgot to press the Shift, so it just opened my last configuration, like or my last placement. So I want them here. Well, wait, yeah. So this screen is a bit small, not small, but doesn't fit or doesn't have all the needs or all my needs. So yeah, basically, let's put it. I just need the top part of the X meter. So yeah, basically I just press Shift F7. Oh, sorry, here, and I just save this as analyzers and just tool window positions. Okay.
Yeah.
So and your Reaper it will be the same. So whatever windows you may have, I just call them analyzers. So I can just press F8 to close it and F7 to bring them back on. Oh, this one just came out of. I can pin it. It's because it was pinned. Maybe. So you can just correct it and let's see. Maybe it works.
Yeah. Like real-time shortcut adjustment done in Reaper.
Or, as you know, shortcuts to load VSTs and show.
It's like basically combining everything you can imagine into one DAW. Like this shortcut thing to create custom shortcuts to open plugins. There are also possibilities. I just know for Ableton with the shortcut body, but you need to pay for it, and it also has some flaws, I'm pretty sure, depending on what Ableton version you're working in. So it seems like in Reaper stuff like this, it's just working way more smooth. And
bro, actually I want to show you if you're collabing with someone, let's say in Reaper, there's a bunch of different approaches. It's very hard to go into everything, but I will just to sparkle the interest of people. This is something that it came to my mind a few days ago. It was like maybe midday or no, I think you were here 3 in the evening or in the afternoon, and I just said, "Oh, I just wish I could place markers wherever the collaborators should." So I wish I could have this marker mode where I could just turn on this marker mode, and I could just with shortcut keyboards quickly put the markers with the names of my collaborators. So at 3 in the evening, I didn't know how to do this. By 5 or so or 6, because it was already done and being applied and used. So this feature that I imagined, like, they could be cool. Look, go into marker modes and just press Shift M for Monchi, O for Okta marker, and like this. And wow, but yeah, Fred will have such a hard time by putting all these markers. And imagine if we're working with jargon and those and
Yeah,
I think graphics and whatever. But
yeah,
um I'm using here shortcuts that I use. For instance, my um, Control J, let's say like this. It's my consolidate, like in a.
yeah, yeah.
But for in this marker mode is just marker Jojo.
Like in this shortcut mode,
Marker mode.
you in this marker mode, you can apply different functions to the same shortcut, like an extra toggle mode or an extra control or an extra option on Mac or whatever. Like, yeah, something like this.
32 or I think or maybe 32 layouts for my shortcuts, so which I can change by clicking on buttons where
Wow.
that I can set up myself. So I just go out of this, and it will be such a hard time for you to just paste all these for yourself and copy. So I can just come here, of course, and just go into marker utilities, marker lists, copy to clipboard, and it's done. And I paste it on the chat of Muse.
Yeah.
Like this, it will look something like, oh, I can't bring my window. I don't know why. I will try. No, I can't. But yeah, it will look like something like what you will be seeing on the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to go here to this window and just paste it. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Super easy, super useful. And yeah.
Yeah. So if some of the people listening, if you're just starting out maybe with production, I think Reaper is really overwhelming, but yeah, if you're not already into Wonder, you should definitely give this a try, because if you once master this, I think this is my biased, semi-educated opinion. If you master this, you basically can have like any door and make Reaper more like this door or that door, and in every other door you will have some limitations, which also could be like for beginners good to have those kind of limitations. But yeah, go and check Reaper. Just do it.
Also, I should say, if you are kind of experienced producer as well, comfortable with workflow, not, let's say, of course you'll be comfortable with a particular DAW, but I think what you're really comfortable is it's what with your workflow, and that can be almost every time transposable to any other DAW with some tweaks or in here and there. Of course, if you use very specific features for your DAW and unique, it will be more difficult to translate that to other DAWs. But in Reaper, if you are very aware or confident about your workflow and you know what you need to do and this and that, you can set it up to basically do really shorten the time of bureaucratic process, like clicking, adding channels, going, searching for plugins and this and that, by just going here and putting a button that does all that. Like so, and actually, for me, it's still not perfect. I just need to open the channel with my arming recording on and my MIDI input, so I can do that very quickly. Also, I just go and set up the action. It's for another time. This is just, don't want to get it too complicated, or too complicated for beginners or people are not aware it is, because it's not. So trust me, I'm a really lazy and dumb person. So by being lazy, that's why I do this. So yes,
you spend a lot of effort in preparation so you can be lazy later for the rest of your life. And also what I want to mention here, I just had maybe 2 sessions in Reaper, but I was also really blown away by the stretching modes, which are like, you have like this rare mode, which is basically the texture mode from Ableton on steroids and much more customizable. And yeah, I was just blown away. I think the only thing, or the one thing I just recognized right now, which is a little more difficult for me than in Ableton, is just the setup of MIDI stuff and to route it into the VST plugins it should play, and it seems, at least to my Ableton brain, a little like a few extra steps.
I know what you get in the beginning. For me, it was also a bit confusing, especially because I was not relying too much on tutorials or seeing other people doing. I was trying to solve it by myself. And in Reaper, almost everything is like left clickable. Like it will show you a different option depending on where you click. Like it's it's a lot. So it's as you said, it can be super overwhelming. And if you're trying to figure it out how to set this all up, but then it gets easier. So I just want to throw the sound from this channel to this channel. Just do this. It's done. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can really be efficient, and you can customize actions to help you and aid you on those little stuff that you do all the time. If you do something consistently over and over, just see where you can shorten that amount of time. So if imagine for an experienced producer that has been making music for the last 10 years or something like this, let's sum all the seconds that it took for him to place all the Pro cues in his track. So to cut the low end, let's sum this all together, like at least 15-20 seconds. Let's
More, man, like in 10 years, I think you probably spend at least a day in 10 years of just looking for the Pro Q and making a low cut. Or maybe a day is too much, but it's in
depends on how efficient you become as well. Imagine if you're exporting sounds, you can use it on the group already or something like this. Or how sloppy you are with the low end, it doesn't matter. It will hurry you a lot. I mean, it's lost time for creative purposes.
Yeah.
The juice is the creative stuff. I mean, if you want to be bureaucratic, go work in the city hall. So you don't need to have 3 clicks to load the plugin. If you use it all the time, in the future, you probably just think about it and it will just pop up. You're the one in charge, so don't stick with.
It's also reminding me of I think I also mentioned this in the last podcast, that I'm a super big fan of the Mr. Bill podcast and of Mr. Bill in general. And he's always talking about this one study where people told, and the purpose of the study was that people were told to find a different way to get to work. Like, doesn't matter how their usual way to work was or how they got there. They need to find a different way. And turns out that definitely the majority, I can't recall the exact percentages, they, after the study, they would stick to the new way they found to get to work, because they were probably realizing that there are way more efficient ways to get to work. So I think this can be for sure applied to Reaper.
Definitely.
And
I want to disclaim this, but because it won't probably, I can't say for sure, but probably it won't make your music sound better like in a snap. It may have that effect for sure, especially in the long term. But what is really happening is just that you will have more time to focus on what it's really important in the music part, and you will be probably um, have more energy, so you can work longer. You are more comfortable, so you have a certain time that you can work. Let's say we have our limitations. After a while, my back starts to hurt a bit. I need to go and stretch my legs, or my eyes get tired, or this and that. So if let's in those 10 years, if one full day it was just searching for the pro queue, it's it's this. You can shorten it. It's not making it like a factory or something like this, everything very like, but it's just being fluent on your creativity, on
Yeah.
materializing your ideas. It just have that on the point of your tongue or in the point of your tips or your thumbs, right? You are just very, very close to materialize your idea. You don't have too many steps,
Yeah.
the short. So being efficient, saving energy, again, like you can relate this with other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Cut the intermediaries if they are not being necessary.
Yeah.
Ah, my dog doesn't like to be excluded. I read that one. Beta.
I mean, if he got to say something, then you can go ahead.
They're very chatty. He's very loud most of the time. But he likes to speak and sing as many other dogs, especially
Oh yeah, singing dog. I like them as well.
blow sounds. They really enjoy like blow sound. Like I don't know if this is the right term. In Portuguese, it makes sense. Like
Like
harmonic, yeah, whistles and harmonicas, particular.
So I think we probably went really hard on pro Reaper mode. So
Yeah, we're get back to finish the Smexoscope. Yeah,
yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, go ahead.
I as previously showcase, I can just press asterisk, or if I prefer, I can just press F7 just to see. Also, I keep on show off these features. I really love this. So yeah, basically, let me just maybe take the volume a bit. I can just lower it on the monitor
Yeah.
here. So Muse plugin, I will just throw this before Muse plugin, so there is no audio streaming.
Yeah.
Muse plugin.
Yeah, it's probably also nice to maybe if I think it's not even necessary, maybe just to show it once how it sounds, but other ways I think it's better if you just tell the people what you're seeing, what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you can imagine like average sounding music for the audio and the visuals. It's like this. So thing that I love is, oh, by the way, I'm not sure if this happened enabled them. Probably yes, but it just saves the settings of this, which are a bit of pain in the ass to keep all.
Yeah.
And I don't have it like I could beat match it or sync match it in order for it to.
But this seems like a real pain in the ass.
No, it's not. It's super easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. You just have to put the trigger, with triggering with some other signal, but it's with like it's short sample or noising sample.
Yeah.
So I like it like this because if it's in the beginning, I have difficulty seeing
Yeah.
first part. So
Cross.
I enjoy it, and if it's too on the left and it's taking too much time, I just freeze it and go it again, and it jumps to other place of the image.
Yeah.
So I'm very used to working with this. So, and as I said, imagine I have this here. I can put this guide here to see whatever might be um, passing that level. I just freeze it real quick so I can look at these peaks and clip. I see what they are, and I can adjust this in real time. So the image won't adjust, but the values here, yes, where the crosshairs, so crosses. So yeah, it's pretty useful. It's a shame that this doesn't update like real time the size. Okay, it does if you're not in freeze mode. You can really basic oscillator. Super simple. It's free. I've been using it. I'm very used to it, and that's why I love this feature. This is for me the thing.
Yeah, I used Oscillus Megascope. It has a similar thing, but I think this is it's not working as good as an.
I really love Oscillus Megascope as well. I have to say it because you can layer stuff, see different.
You can route different channels into it and see the phase alignment or aligned. Yeah,
I'm really leaning to free stuff lately. Like, yeah, I completely changed my perception over the years about free stuff. I used to think that free means cheap and not so good quality. So, and as I gave a chance to some of these tools, I start realizing that sometimes it's the total opposite. So
yeah, man, there are just like really cool people out there, which are just like this stuff shouldn't be cost anything, or at least everyone could use this. Is this right?
Yeah. If they want, they have the possibility to access this.
Like I'm really happy, for example, that Da Vinci is for free, Reaper is for free. That there's basically
Vital is for free.
Vital is for free. Yeah, it's just like a really nice approach, and I think it really helps the community grow in general if it's not gate capped through money. But I also wanted to just know a bit more on how your career in quotation marks on being an educator or giving classes in general is, or how the story to this is.
Yeah, I don't know. The story, it's I've been always a very open person in terms of sharing what I do and trying to uh, to make others see the interest in what I see interest in. Like try to infect them with the same hype.
Yeah.
And that not always worked because this is pre-classes, okay? So with my friends, since ever I used to play with Ableton and do all kinds of crazy stuff in there, and I would try to tease them a bit. So yeah, I've always tried to to show or to share my excitement about stuff with other people. In the beginning, my friends were not so into Psytrance, or my group of friends were not so into Psytrance, so that was hard to make for me to make them get interested in this. So yeah, but after I started playing in small parties and sharing my music in these events, some friends started to wonder if they could get along with me in my place and learn how I was doing stuff, and if I could share with them my experience. And yeah, I opened my door. Always, it always has been open. And I just started these classes. I use this term just to make it more explicit. That is a experience sharing session. Let's call it like this. Both ways, always both ways. So yeah, I just started because I was feeling that I was not being able to focus so continuously on my projects, and also teaching or sharing with other people like basic Ableton stuff and the principles and some and this. So I decided I would have this space in my life to help out others and to share my experience with them and help them to step up or to make more sense of what they are trying to achieve and get familiar with the process. And yeah, so it's this. I never advertise my classes because I don't feel that I have the legitimacy. I'm not an entity with credibility to teach or to give the to pass this sacred knowledge, let's say. So yeah, I've been doing that currently for the last 5 years or 6 years. Yeah, and all my students, almost all of my students, have came to me by word, so they just pass the word to their friends and whoever they meet that might be interested in learning and stepping up. And but since then, I must disclaim here, in case anyone listening might be interested in any of these. I just right from the beginning I adjusted like not the criteria. I don't want to put it like this, but I tend to prefer to work with people who already have solid base knowledge about at least the language, use the terminology. So it's easier, and it's because of course I have to charge for my time in this. I don't think it's super expensive or anything, but wherever, it's just if you come with an already established vocabulary, I can be much more efficient passing this information. So what you will absorb in that session, those 2 hours that usually takes a class, it will be much more. You will take much more information in those 2 hours if you're already familiar with the DAW, with the terminology for, like, if you know what sidechaining is, for example, or local, this kind of stuff. It's not mandatory, but I don't think people should waste money on.
Yeah. Also, I think it's also. I mean, if the vibe is fitting, it's also it's more guaranteed that there will be happening more like 1 or 2 classes. For example, when I did this just with people who were starting out with Ableton or making music in general. And yeah, I made the experience that they are like really can get really fast frustrated or realizing that it's not what they want to do with their spare time or whatever. So yeah, if somebody's already really into it, it's like nice to establish also this relationship over a couple of sessions, and yeah, to stay in touch for even a longer time probably. And this is really benefiting to the relationship. Yeah.
It's in my kind of methods, I really don't have like this pre-planned program. Let's say I have my approach is mostly mentorship, where the student is in his own environment, we are listening to his track on his computer, on his DAW, and his screen sharing. And usually most of the sessions tend to be about mixing stuff, some about techniques as well, of course. And if you come like having this with a lot of material already to show and questions to be asked, it's much better compared to someone who is just starting out, and of course still has a lot of questions also. But is not familiar with the discipline that you have to take in order to finish a track. Of course, I always adjust to the level of the person who's receiving the information. Of course, I won't be speaking about phase, kick and bass phase to someone who is just learning out what is a kick and the bass. It won't make any sense for them. So basically everyone has its own. That's why also the classes are one by one. So everyone has different perceptions and levels and goals. So the group classes or something like this, it's for me, it's not when it's being paid. All dedication should be like, it's like people are buying your energy, so your energy must be really available for them at that specific time. So, so I see it.
Yeah, I agree.
My dog is
he's begging for something, I guess.
Speaking toy sounds. I think he wants to go outside.
Yeah, also I thought like this this last thing we were discussing is probably also a nice thing to wrap up the podcast with. So yeah, if there maybe is there anything left you maybe want to mention, or
I would love to keep going and just showing stuff here and talk about music, but to wrap up with a particular thing, I don't know, maybe you have
no, I think it was already a good point to wrap up. I mean, if people are interested more in us having these conversations, hit us up and get news. So the chances are good that you can enjoy them more.
By the way, my musician nickname will be Alien Arts.
Is it?
So, which is an anagram for my real name, by the way. So I'm not an alien fanboy or something like this.
So Alien Mind Arts, and I don't know my nickname. It's probably Monchi. Yeah. So anyway, also you can just ask us on probably any social media stuff or whatever if you're interested in stuff like this. So yeah, man, thanks for coming on to the podcast. I really appreciate it. Really nice.
It's been very, very good to be here once again, doing the same we do always. All stuff we care about, and
So I would just stop the recording.